Welcome to the February episode of Senior Living. Do you think the worst of this winter is behind us, Peg?
Oh, if only, but it is Michigan, you know, and things change pretty quickly.
We're definitely closer to spring than we were in December, right?
We certainly are.
I always think of February as a patriotic month.
Yeah, me too. There's Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday. This year there's the inauguration, and
that's not February.
January, right? See, we're taping it in January. So yeah, it is a patriotic month.
Don't forget that special Valentine. Oh, you forgot. We're going to do something new today.
Oh yeah, we are going to do something new today. Ralph's going to cook. So
We're going to make a dessert that you can make for someone special. But earlier this month, we met with Dr. Colleen Phillips, who talked to us about eye diseases, especially glaucoma. Let's take a look.
We're here today at Capital City Vision with Dr. Colleen Phillips, and we're going to talk about some common eye problems. And first one we're going to talk about is glaucoma. But first I want to know a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Certainly. I have been in practice for about 25 years here in Okemos. Well, 25 in the fall anyhow. My father was an optometrist before me, and so I grew up in the profession. I started off working in his office in middle school, doing charting, and then progressed into doing the pre-testing portion of the exams with him. Fought the urge to go into optometry for a couple years, then decided it really was a good fit for me. I found that I just love it. So, yeah, 25 years later.
You're my optometrist, and I will say she gives a great exam.
And enjoy it every minute of it.
Yeah. So tell us about glaucoma. Causes, screening, what do we need to know?
Well, glaucoma is a progressive eye disease that affects the optic nerve. And the problem with glaucoma is that there's no symptoms to it. Generally, a patient's not going to come in with a complaint that they think they've got glaucoma because they have eye pressure. And that's the problem, because it can go undetected for many, many years, causing progressive damage to the optic nerve, which could end up leading to blindness if not treated properly. There are great treatments. It's not curable, but there are surgical treatments for it. There are drops typically, and pretty easy drop regimens anymore. And as long as we're detecting it through thorough comprehensive eye exams, and it's not just a pressure reading, sometimes it is a optic nerve evaluation, visual field testing that really can pinpoint that diagnosis.
That should be part of any routine eye exam,
Yes.
isn't that right?
Yes, anymore, yes. Risk factors are patients who have family history for glaucoma, patients who are diabetic have a higher risk for glaucoma, patients who are very highly nearsighted have a higher risk for glaucoma. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, they all have a higher risk.
Well, the other eye problem that I'm familiar with, only because my father suffered from it, is macular degeneration. Now, what exactly is that?
Macular degeneration is a progressive change in the retinal tissue at the macula, which is the only part of the retina that's capable of seeing 20/20. It is also the part of the retina that gives us our color vision. And so when that area is affected, it can cause a tremendous and debilitating loss to our daily living. It is definitely hereditary. Caucasians are more at risk than African Americans or Hispanics, and we do tend to find that it runs in a genetic pattern.
That's why I always want you to look at it.
Absolutely. Patients who are have lighter coloring, blue-eyed patients are a little bit higher risk than those with brown or green eyes. Patients who are out in the sun a lot have a higher risk. Patients who smoke have a higher risk. So the things that you can do to actively try to prevent it are wear good sunglasses, don't smoke, and having the nutrient lutein in your diet is actually also very good, because that is a nutrient that helps protect the macula area.
Now, is there wet and dry?
Yes. Dry form is a very slow progressing. We don't see fluid progressing in the retinal tissue. And unfortunately with dry, although it can cause a lot of vision loss, there's no treatment for
Yeah,
dry.
that's what he had.
Wet forms are where we can get blood vessel growth in there and it causes swelling and fluid accumulation. That's actually treatable with injections. Nobody wants to think about getting a shot in their eye, but that's the best way to treat it.
Now, an eye doctor told me once that the most common complaint for patients that he sees, and patients pretty much in general, is dry eye.
Yes, it is.
And I suffered from that for a very long time. So how can we prevent that?
That's very difficult to prevent because unfortunately where we find dryness, previously we found dryness to be a problem that really affected women. Over the age of 50, post-menopause issues would increase the dryness factor there. But we're finding now that unfortunately computers are the biggest cause for dryness because we don't blink enough. Studies show that we blink about 50 to 60% less when we're sitting in front of a computer than we do when we're just having a normal conversation. And unfortunately that lack of blinking then doesn't redistribute your tears, and it doesn't stimulate your tear glands to produce tears. So unfortunately, I'm seeing dryness in patients in their 20s, and it just gets progressively worse because computers are bad. Winter weather here in Michigan is tough. We run into problems with certain medications, certain systemic issues, autoimmune issues, thyroid issues can also increase dryness.
So you can treat this with over-the-counter medications.
That's typically the first line of defense, or in addition to our normal tears, we put that lubricant in to help decrease the symptoms because it's a very symptomatic problem. But we find that oftentimes that's not enough. And we will find that using omega-3s, omega-7s are great to help you produce a better quality of tear film. Hot compresses for a lot of patients make a big difference. And now we have medications like Restasis and Xiidra that will also help. And it's finding which one works. Therapy is the best for the patient because not all patients fit into one single therapy.
And the thing is, when you think of dry eye, you think of your eyes being really dry. But in my case, the tears would just stream down my face because it overproduced.
Absolutely. So you have good tears and bad tears.
Yeah.
The good tears act as part of the vision system. They help protect the cornea. They get nutrients to the cornea, and they add to the vision system. When that's not being produced well, your auxiliary tear glands kind of kick in and produce the bad tears, and that floods the eye because it's as a protector. It's feeling like there's a foreign body issue, and it's wanting to rinse that away. So.
Okay, I just have one last question. Does everybody after a certain age have the what's the word I'm thinking of?
Cataracts.
Cataracts, yeah. Cataracts.
We'll all develop cataracts if we live long enough, yes. But now the magic age is different for everybody. But we start off our life with a very clear lens within our eye, and in our 40s as that starts to harden, which was typically when we all start thinking about needing some reading help of some sort, we start to get a little bit of a yellowish cast to that lens, and that progressively gets worse as that lens hardens more. It gets a little bit hazy. That's one type of cataract. We can also get opacities within the lens, and that's a little separate issue, but we'll all get them. Certain things, again, increase that risk. Ultraviolet light, diabetes, smoking, those are things that are going to make you produce a cataract faster than normal.
Well, I'm waiting for mine.
Yeah, some people anxiously anticipate having that cataract surgery because there are such great implants out there now that can really decrease your need for glasses in general. So, yeah, I have patients out there wanting them.
Yeah, really. I can't wait.
Bring it on.
Well, thanks so much for talking with us today, Dr. Phillips.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, guess we'll go back to the studio. I guess we go back to the senior center.
Okay.
Welcome back to Senior Living. On this month's show, we thought we might try something different. we're going to do a little cooking. We're going to call it Grandpa Cooks. I'm going to make Cherry's Jubilee, a simple but elegant dessert that may impress someone special, and it's very easy to make. We found this delectable dessert some 45 years ago in a set of Better Homes and Gardens cookbooks that we received as a wedding gift. This pan dates back to then too. You will need a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter that's cut into cubes, 1/3 of a cup of sugar. I've pre-measured most of this stuff. You'll need a can of dark sweet cherries, which will be drained, and you need to reserve a 1/4 cup of the juice. You may, if you want.
The assistant.
We'll let those sit. You'll need a 4-inch stick of cinnamon. That's broken in half. A 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, which we will add later. Some cherry liqueur, if you want to add a little extra flavoring. Some freshly grated lemon zest. And if you want to flambe it, some cognac or brandy. And of course, you'll need some ice cream. We start by melting our butter in our pan at a medium-high heat, which is about 350 or so. We let that melt and stir. We add our sugar. We stir that in. And we let that cook 2 to 2.5 minutes, stirring constantly until it begins to brown a bit on the edges. The butter is fuzzed off or burned off. Turn the heat up just a bit. We will add our reserved cherry juice, stir that in, add our vanilla, our cinnamon sticks. This we want to cook for a minute or so and let it reduce a little bit, and if we're lucky it might thicken some. At this point, we can add our cherries and our lemon zest, 1/4 teaspoon or so. Stir that in. When it comes back to a boil, which it has, we will remove it from the heat. We will stir in a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, a tablespoon or so of our cherry liqueur. That intensifies the flavor. And now to flambe it, a tablespoon or so of a brandy or cognac of your choice. It probably will be hard to see in this bright light. A dimly lit room works best for doing the flambeing piece of it. Okay, there we go. It is burning, so we stir this in. Don't burn ourselves.
I have to see now.
Okay.
Now, if you didn't have a pan like this, you could do this on the stove.
On the stove over a double boiler, or there are other ways of doing it. Now, for the taste test.
Oh, I better get the ice cream now. I'm so busy watching it.
Yes. Thank you for watching.
Here we go.
I don't know if we want this on camera or not, but
This is a big favorite at our house, so we make it fairly often, I guess. Kids like it.
there you go.
Here we go. Perfect Valentine's Day gift. And it's easy enough for a man to make, right, Ralph?
Thank you.
Welcome back to Senior Living. We're here today with Todd Kulman, who is a spokesperson for the American Red Cross. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate the time.
Well, I know the Red Cross does a lot, but today we want to talk specifically about blood donations.
Absolutely.
So I guess the first question is, are there times of the year when you need more blood than others?
There absolutely is. We tend to see the summer months, June through late August, and around the holidays and into the winter time, those 2 times of year when collecting blood becomes a bit of a challenge. Still, even February is a time where we still might see some inclement weather here in Michigan. That'll often cancel blood drives. Some of our sponsors won't hold blood drives if the roads are icy.
Yeah.
We hold a lot of drives at our schools, and if schools are not in session that day, that blood drive will get canceled. And the holidays themselves, I mean, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, people are busy. People
Yeah.
are with family and friends and doing other things,
Right.
and blood donation will often take a back seat. So those are definitely 2 of the serious times of the year where we tend to struggle a little bit.
Okay. Now, is there an age limit on who can donate?
17 years old in most states. However, here in Michigan and some other states with parental permission, a signed parental form, 16 years old is the age you can donate here in Michigan. There are certain height, weight requirements for high school kids as well. But yeah, that's the age limit, and we certainly spend a lot of time in high schools because that is our next generation of blood donor.
Yeah. Train them young.
Absolutely. You got that right.
So, for a senior, are there any, if you're taking any medications, would that not prevent you from donating?
Our website is redcrossblood.org. There is a list, I don't want to say a mile long, but of things that you could be, I guess, deferred for. Certain medications may impact your ability to donate that day. That would be something one of our collections staff or nurses would be able to tell. There's a lot of reasons you couldn't donate. If you're out of the country, that's like a 1-year deferral. If you're in Europe for a vacation or something like that. Tattoos actually used to be a 1-year deferral, but now that's been changed over the last 4 years. As long as it's from a state facility, you can donate. Cancer, I get a lot of questions from folks who have either had cancer and they're maybe in remission now. As long as they've been cancer-free or clear of chemotherapy or any kind of treatments for 1 year, they're also allowed to donate as well. But there are certain cancers where they can't donate. So the list is pretty long, but we have our website again, redcrossblood.org, has a lot of information about when you can and when you can't, and maybe what things might prevent you from being able to.
Now, I'm O negative, which makes me the universal donor.
We love your blood type.
I know you do.
Yep.
And I have donated in the past, but oh gosh, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with hepatitis.
Okay.
But it was no ABC, it was none of the letters. It was probably caused by an external environmental problem.
Okay.
Would that prevent me from donating?
Once again, I think that would be something the collections nurse would discuss with you. They certainly have that all ingrained as far as that type of thing. It very well could, but then again, I can't tell you 100% whether it would or not.
So you could check the website.
Absolutely, yeah. It's pretty thorough as far as that sort of thing goes.
About how long does it take to donate?
To donate blood, it takes about an hour from the time you walk into the blood donation center or the mobile drive if it was at a senior center or at a community center or something. You know, there's paperwork to fill out. You go through a brief health history to make sure you're healthy and feeling good. But the actual donation process when you're laying on the bed is about 7 to 10 minutes. And after that, obviously, we have our Red Cross refreshment area where the folks
juice
can.
and cookies.
Absolutely, that's one of people's favorite part about donating blood. But we do have a new thing now called Rapid Pass, and this is something where folks can actually complete the health history, fill out some of the paperwork before they go to the blood drive. They can do that from their laptop or their computer at home, and that'll save about 15 to 20 minutes at the blood drive. And it's just another way for us to, you know, our donors are donating their time. A lot of them are coming on their lunch hours, that sort of thing. So we try to make it as quick and easy as possible, and that's just something we've launched within the last year and a half. So
I'm just curious about this, and you may not know, but is there a blood type that's generally in demand?
Well, your blood type, O negative, is always in demand. It's the universal blood type. It can be transfused into anybody regardless of their type. Usually used in a lot of severe emergency situations before they have time to determine. But also A negative and B negative are those are three blood types that are usually in demand. But we always say all blood types are most needed.
Sure, I'm sure.
Every 2 seconds somebody needs a blood transfusion somewhere in the United States. So it's the need for blood's constant. It has a shelf life. Whole blood, 44 days, and 42 days, and platelets, which are used for cancer patients, premature babies, that sort of thing. Platelets only last 5 days, so those are constantly needing to be replenished.
So we'd encourage you to donate.
Absolutely.
Now, besides blood donation, are there other opportunities for volunteering with the Red Cross?
Absolutely.
Here in the area?
Yes, we have a lot of folks who maybe can't donate blood for certain reasons, but they want to help. They want to be involved with the Red Cross. On the blood services side, we have lots of volunteer opportunities in the greater Lansing area at blood drives. They can help sign in blood donors. They can work at the refreshment station. We also have opportunities in Lansing at our offices. We have 2 offices, one on Grand River, one on Saginaw, right in near Frandor, if you will. Office work. We have a lot of office workers. We have folks who volunteer, and they'll actually drive our blood to the hospitals or take the blood from the blood drives and bring them back so we can send it to be tested. So lots of blood donation, or rather volunteer opportunities for folks. And again, if they would like to take part with the Red Cross, 1-800-RED-CROSS is a great number to call to get information.
Okay. Thanks so much for being with us,
Oh, I
Todd.
appreciate your time. Anytime you need some information on blood, let me know.
Okay. We'll be right back after this.
Busy show this month.
Yes, it was. We certainly got our Martha Stewart on this month with your cooking, and last month with my crafting. And so I think, though, next time you should cook something that you're really good at. Bread, cakes, pies, cookies. If you haven't guessed, Ralph is the cook in our family. So we'll see you next month.